Dr. Kim, welcome to India yet again, and you've come for this wonderful series of master classes and interactions with musicians and music professionals around the country. What brings you to India? What is special about India for you?
Well, first of all, India is like my home country. I'm married an Indian, so I have an Indian husband, so it is my home country. So of course for me, it's a very special country for that one reason even.
And tell us a little bit more about your music.
My music is, I'm a classical musician, Western classical musician. So I was trained that way, but I'm very open to any genre. I even like Indian traditional music. Indian music is very fun in the Indian movies. And I like any genre, pops or semi-classic, any genre is very good for me.
Have you heard Indian classical music? Traditional instrumental classical music, have you heard a lot of that?
Yes, I did. I was actually judging a world performing art championship, something in California, and I heard some Indian performers playing, and I also heard it in YouTube and on the street. When we went to Disney World, sometimes they play certain instrument, so it was beautiful, and I'm used to it a bit now. And the first time when I heard was not so used, it was new. But it has its beauty and charm, very delicate also.
And there's a huge tradition of instrumentalism and classical tradition in the Indian system, which has a lot of parallels with the European classical music. And I use the word European classical music cautiously because it's not really Western classical music as much as European classical music.
Right.
America as such has not contributed too much to the Western, to the concept of the classical music era as such. So there are a lot of similarities between Indian classical and European classical, and that's something we'd love to hear you, explore through your career and in the future as well. And how did this duality of harp and piano come about in your instrumental oeuvre?
Well, I started the piano as my first instrument when I was young, and then I was trained other instruments like violin, cello. Later in my life, I started playing many other instruments, and harp I started when I was, I think, 17, 18. And I think I played about 4 instruments on stage besides harp and piano. And then harp and piano is probably the only instruments I play as a soloist with an orchestra. And the other instrument I play as a hobby. I enjoy them very much.
So you're reasonably good at the cello and the violin as well? But
they're just for fun, hobby,
for fun.
But harp and piano I love the most.
Wow. And you started playing the piano at what age?
6 years old.
When you were 6, and at that time you were living in
Korea, where I was born. I'm a South Korean born, US citizen.
Yes.
So our house had a piano before I really started formal lessons. So I got to know what piano sounds like, and that's how I started having lessons later.
Wonderful. All right. And the harp is a very specialized instrument. Very few people formally, concentrate on the harp. So, what are the similarities in your musicality and music sense and notes and reading of piano music and harp music? There are a lot of similarities. Is that right?
That's right. Because piano and harp both most likely use grand staff, which is treble clef and bass clef, and both instruments has this direct contact to the instruments with the fingertips. So I play both fingers for piano, both hands for harp. So that was very intimate and nice feelings about those instruments. When I play drums, for example, I play with the sticks.
You play drums as well?
Yes, I do.
Oh, wow.
But
okay.
it's not, my fingertips are not having direct contact. Or violins, yes, have a bow and then, fingers, but it's not same feeling of both fingers, which I think I liked personally a lot. So that stood out for me.
So that's the similarity between harp and piano, because basically when you look at the soundboard of the piano, it almost like a harp itself in some ways. But you're using...
Actually, yes, when you see the piano, inside grand piano.
Exactly.
It's like the strings are like harp.
It's
right?
like a massive harp. I mean, with a more complex series of range of scales on a harp.
Yes, and they
Yeah.
are not really one melodic lines, but harmonic instruments.
Exactly.
You know, like
Yeah.
orchestra, little orchestra.
Wonderful.
Little
Wonderful.
different. So
All right. And you play and perform around the world, but not just, you're specializing in a lot of Rachmaninoff and other composers in the late classical era, but you also compose your own music, correct?
yes, I do. I would just say Rachmaninoff is one of my favorite composer, but also there are so many composers. They compose beautiful music. For me, Rachmaninoff #2 stands out very special. It was my mother's favorite concerto, piano concerto.
Okay.
But I also like Rachmaninoff #3 too. And there are many other piano concertos that are really stunning. So I plan to perform more in different repertoire in the future. And I do compose harp or piano or songs or drum sets together, things like that. It's fun for me.
Wonderful. And which are your favorite pieces, you'd say, apart from the Rachmaninoff?
For piano?
Yeah,
Which
for
is-
piano.
For piano, besides Rachmaninoff, every classical genre has charm. Like I like Mozart Piano Concerto 21.
We all
or
love that. That's wonderful.
Beethoven
Yeah, yeah.
5. Or Grieg also nice.
Grieg is lovely, Edward Grieg.
Saint-Saëns nice.
Saint-Saëns, yeah,
Number
Camille
one,
Saint-Saëns, absolutely.
Number 1, number 5. Both
Yeah.
very nice. Tchaikovsky is grand.
Mhm.
And there's so many. It's hard to choose. Also, I like Bartók too.
Bartók,
Bartók.
Bela Bartók.
Yes.
Yeah.
And many other
Mhm.
composers there, Prokofiev and things. So I like also modern composers. And so I think they have all their own charm.
Peter and the Wolf, Prokofiev.
Yeah, there are many
Yeah.
new pieces are,
So from the beginning of the classical era to the end of the classical era and the romantic era, you span the entire period.
yes,
In terms of
classical
your period.
period,
Yeah,
yes, Baroque period, classical period,
Baroque
and
as
then
well.
romantic period, and impressionism like Debussy, Ravel,
Right.
and then nationalism.
Ravel as well.
Ravel is a Debussy,
Yeah,
Roosevelt,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then later, impressionism after that,
Oh.
and nationalism, the composers,
Right through.
Yes,
So you
the-
span the entire era,
yes.
multiple eras.
It's nationalism, not necessarily like those countries that have politically view of a
Yeah,
democratic or communist, but they do have their national color,
Right.
their country's color, which is
Mhm,
beautiful. And then after that, Schoenberg and those 20 atonal composer came out, and then these days composers write a lot of like new style.
Yes.
They do experimental music.
That's
One of
right.
my friend, actually pianist, he's writing a concerto for me, dedicating to me,
Oh,
a
wonderful.
harp concerto.
Oh,
So I
okay.
do plan to premiere those pieces too.
We look forward to that.
Yeah.
And who are the which are the harp compositions which are your favorites, which you think are the most classically evolved?
Classically evolved. There's so many. You see, it's like when you go to buffet, which menu do you
But in
like
harp,
the
there's not
most?
so much. The options are relatively
Still, can you name one harpist there who learned all the repertoire? No.
few. Nobody.
There's still
Yeah.
enough menus. Food,
There's still enough.
food
There's
tries
enough of
like that.
yeah.
It's like when you learn physics, for example.
Mhm.
I love studying some science subject, but the more you study, you feel like you're knowing, but it's like you're like swimming in the ocean, because the more you know how in depth of the knowledge is required. And in human knowledge, we might never reach
Yeah.
the level. So go back to your question, answering your question about the harp. I think I like Hinestra. Hinestra Harp Concerto.
Okay.
It's very exotic. Argentine composer wrote
Okay.
it. So that one is one of the most difficult harp concerto, which I used to perform a lot.
Mhm,
That one
mhm.
is very nice. And also I like very beautiful, just slow movement pieces. Like Passetti, Sonata, second movement, or Zabel. Like those pieces are very soothing. So I used to enjoy playing them and listening them.
Wonderful.
It's like depending on your day. When you're happy, you tend to play cheerful music. But
Right.
when you're sad, sometimes you would like to go into that deep, so you listen to sad music, right?
To match the mood and emotion, not necessarily to counter it, but to match it even.
Right.
Right.
So
Wonderful. So we look forward to hearing some of your pieces as we go along, and also listening in on some of your sort of semi-master classes as we go. But perfect. Thank you so much. Look forward to listening in on your oud as we go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
Mr.
Kim.
Dang.
Yep. All right.